Hello, BookTube. Christmas Eve, December 24th today. We're blanketed around here by a good bit of snow. And the trees are covered and glistening, and it's quite beautiful, although the power fluctuated in and out of here last night, so it does have its downside. Exciting thing this morning, I looked out and we have a big old sumac tree, which provides quite a bit of food to wildlife. Some people see the sumac as a pest, but it's amazing if you watch what kind of animals and plants and insects, depend on them. And we have a big one nearby. We try not to let it take over. They will take over a lot of area if you let them. But if you keep them under control, they can be quite nice. Big red clusters that, if you look close enough, look like little berries. And this morning we went out. We were looking out the window in the living room, and a big old pileated woodpecker. So you have the snow-covered berries on the sumac, and then the pileated woodpecker landed. Very heavy bird, very prehistoric looking, and then it started eating at the sumac. So I tried to get a picture. My phone wouldn't do it through the window, and with a little bit of distance in the yard. My wife tried with her phone, and if we had gone outside, we would have scared it off. So we didn't want to do that. We do see a lot of wildlife around here. A lot of deer. Last year I had a fisher. For those of you who know what that is, it's a mammal, sort of halfway between a weasel and a wolverine. I mean, this thing was powerful looking, right by the house, huge. You wouldn't want a pet out there or something if it was out there. So there's a lot of that around here. But this is meant to be a discussion, a chat, in a continuing series of chats about Dragonquest by Anne McCaffrey, one of the Dragon Riders of Pern novels, the second one, in fact. And I'm reading this second one, like I did the first, as a buddy read with Elena Macrodina. It's a wonderful channel, and who I very much enjoy not only doing the buddy reads with, but watching what she has to say about books. And the pileated woodpecker sort of reminded me of that primal power of the dragons in the Dragon Riders of Pern, and specifically in this volume, Dragonquest. Because we're looking now in this second book about where the dragons came from, among other things. And they came from these smaller, indigenous dragon-like creatures. And through genetic engineering and untold generations, they've been getting larger and larger. And the old-time dragon riders came forward in time, and their dragons were smaller. And the modern, for this story, modern dragon riders are on larger creatures. And this volume is all about, as was the first in a way, you've got the holds, which are the civilian population under a lord. You have the master craftsman, and the master, I think she gives a list of them here in the beginning. So you have the wares, which are where the dragon riders are, and they have their were leaders, and then their were women who are in charge, and then the dragon riders under them. So you have the weres. And of those, you have Benden Weir, Fort Weir, Ista Weir, Telgar Weir, Eigen Weir, High Reaches Weir, Southern Weir, which is newer. For the holds, they're each weir bound. In other words, each hold is bound to a weir. So you have under Bendon, where, for example, you'd have Bendon hold, Mitra hold, Lemnos hold, and then they'd each have a lord holder. And then, and I'm not going to read them all for each of the weirs, you'd get used to it. Then you have the craft masters, which in this story are very important. So you have Robinton, who's the master harper, Fandrel, who's a master smith, and you have a master weaver, miner, tanner, fisher, herdsman, and farmer. And they're each bound to a hold. And the politics is just a word for people getting along together or not getting along together and trying to have a community. The politics in this are constant, and the struggles between and within all these groups. And each has good characters, bad characters, complex characters, characters you're not quite sure where they're going with any of this stuff. And you're starting to have a real build on this notion of the conflict between old ways, traditional ways that had kept people safe, and new innovations, which tend to look like they're leading towards at least attempting to solve the greater problem, which is thread, the spores released from the red planet that devastate organic matter. And I have to say, we read chapters 9 through 12, so we look about like that. So there's only a little bit left here to finish it off. We're 4 chapters every week this month. It's really intensifying. The relationships are intensifying. The threats are intensifying. The potentialities of where the story could go are intensifying, as they should be at this section of the book. And it's very compelling. It's been a great joy to read, so I'm looking forward to finishing it up. So I'll link Elena's review of these chapters below, and thank you, BookTube.